Mm-hmm.
Hello.
We're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, roosters and hens, and everything else in between, Cock Talk is back. And the Balkers are in the lead, and we're not giving it up. Sorry, Blake. But as always, from Coop Collective, I am Tyler at MBF Express. We have our producer, Josh, at Grateful Coops, Blake at Wada Wada Racing, and the BAWK father at BAWK Familia. Back again, the fourth member. If you don't remember, he's here for good now, for better or for worse. Gentlemen, how we feeling?
I find it interesting that every time that we add a few guys, you guys add a few guys.
So
I see what you're saying.
So there's
here.
a reason for that,
Yeah, tell me.
and it's because
I thought we would like get it to where it was going to even out a little bit. I mean, I could understand.
Tyler, why is that? You told me the other day.
Happy birthday, Tyler. It's been a while since that. Thank you, Fledge.
Oh, yeah.
It was from previous
since way back.
So the way that Deli explained it, at least the way I understood it, all of the coops, all of the flocks are evenly distributed, but we're just simply having more people racing than others. Now, if you go look at Balkers, you'll also see there's a whole bunch of people that have just kind of piggybacked in, and I just have like one race sitting at the bottom.
No.
But still, the Balkers certainly do have a bit of a run here. Lucky Cluckers, they're not done.
No,
they might be scheming in the background too. I'm watching you.
Yeah, they're 3,000 points behind, and
they're not done.
But they should have done it to where, I guess, like as you raced, you went into the next available team. Does that make sense? However, that could be gamed as well.
I'm sure there's gotta be some way of a balancing aspect that they could implement. In the future, right? Like something that can, as like racers enter in and they're racing, and if their volume drops off, like there's got to be a certain threshold too. Like after a certain while, like if you haven't ran 20 races, like I don't even feel like those people should.
Right, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like just like wipe all those,
honestly,
wipe them out completely. Like all the
100
points
races
too.
should have been
it's
the
like
threshold.
What, 20, maybe 100 points if you had 20 races by that point.
Yeah. Almost 100 races is really the ones that are counting for the bulk of the points. I mean, over that, you should at least get to 100 before your score counts. But I think that, this is probably the funnest event that I think we've ever had, though, overall. Even for somebody that's sitting in third place and hard to come back, I still think it's kind of brought some different dynamics to the game.
I've had fun.
Oh yeah,
I've been pumping out some volume.
They need to do another thing like this where there's teams like this, keep the same bulk of the teams, like I say the top 20 of each team, and then let everybody else kind of fill in as they play on the next event.
That might have worked, because that's the only bummer about this, is that we've kind of caught ourselves in a bit of a lull. I know the Lucky Cluckers, they're mobilizing. They want to make a run, but there's two other flocks that are sitting there that probably don't have the same kind of shot to catch up with the Balkers, and we've been in the lead the whole time, despite even Ben F and some of these crazy people. By the way, Ben F getting to 5,000 points. And
in
like
1,500 and some change races
in 2 days too. So I mean, that's just absolutely crazy.
Believe the Chicken Club, Believe 420 just got there to 5,000. I'm at 4,560, and the only thing registering for me are first places now, and it's 5 points per. So I'm not making it to 5K.
Ben F had a whole breakdown of how, or somebody had a whole breakdown of our team of how many wins that they would have to get to get any more points.
Yeah, just unreal. Like I am at probably 900 races and cracked. I think I'm at like 4,100, something around that range. And only first and seconds are the only thing registering for me.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild. Some of us have better win-loss records, that's for sure. I did very well in the first 3 days. I was actually positive for the first 3 days. Not so much now. It got way harder as we went along.
Maybe a touch. I discovered some birds.
Yeah, I've noticed that you guys.
It's a fun part of it.
What was that, BAWK?
No, it's a fun part of it. It's a good reason, a good excuse to break out some of those unraced birds and actually, put some miles on them. Well, people were trying to win too. It's not like a mass D class event or anything,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that was great. I lost a bet to my sister a while ago, and I told her she could name one of my birds. So I saw a bird that was like 0-2-2 in E class. It was like, there's a shot for sand here. So she named it Chomposaurus Rex, and then dressed it like an idiot. And I'm like, fine, I'll run this thing, and it's awesome. So I was really happy about that. It's I love these because you get the ability to pump, and then you just go at it. And now I found a bird that actually can win an E. So
now
there's things for people to do, even if you're not quite winning in these races.
So here's what's funny. Is Ben F hit 5,000 points at around like 1,500 and 50 races, I think. He's at 2,622 now.
Yeah, he's just been keeping him.
And this is no slight on Believe, but it took him about 2,500 to get to the 5K. He's at 2,550 now. What Ben F did was just nuts.
Yeah, totally there is some strategy behind why he's still racing, because every race that he wins is less of a time that you guys gain points. So
absolutely.
Again, he's very smart at what he does, and it leads to racing.
It fills his wallet up.
Oh yeah, he said he's made a shit ton of money. I think what would have been interesting is to see that points cap, but also points per race would be interesting.
Points per race would have been interesting. I think there's something someone suggested that could have been a little bit more of an even way to do it. And they'll improve on this one.
Yeah,
they'll improve on this one. But
the team
this was probably the most
awesome,
fun yet.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it.
As long as they keep those ETH prizes too. The ETH prizes engage people, even if it's just a little bit.
That's it.
Money talks, man. Money talks.
As much as we want to get into how cool this tournament was, if the prize sucked, it wouldn't have had the volume. We would never have had an hour and 40-minute wait, whatever the hell that was. We never would have had it.
And honestly, it's dipped off a little bit. It has its ebbs and flows. It's still decent by all means.
2 weeks is tough.
But it's still, 2 weeks is tough. Like, I'd be interested to see like something like a week-long sprint or something like that. Or hell, even like 48 hours. What can you do in 48 hours
is this
as a team? You know what I mean? Like that would be kind of fun. And you'd really have to think about and strategize like, okay, how do we maximize in such a short amount of time? And that's when these little subgroups that I believe Coro has been making, come in handy. As long as they can be made private to the teams, if we could ever figure out that.
You're talking about secret discords?
No.
I think there is one.
There's a couple out there.
Lucky Cluckers.
Is this the highest race volume we've had in any event? Does this break all records?
The per event, maybe. There was only one other day that had a higher volume, and that was the last day of the superhero event. So this was
per day. So, but as far as, to me, there was a stretch of a handful of days where it was popping off pretty. And just looking at the total number of races that have been ran, just look amongst the teams right there. What is that? Like 40,000 races run? Almost.
Pretty much. About 42,000. No. Yeah, about 40, just under 40,000. 39 something.
But that's still total. Like you can't total those together. Everyone's been.
No, it is just over 40,000. But still.
Yeah, that's the total volume ran, total races ran. And again, some of those are double entries and stuff like that, but or probably a lot.
All those birds are running against each other, but that's still 40,000 inches. That's not.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's not total.
But breaking it down by Coop, by team, that's how many races each person has put forth into the pool. So that's still, you love to see it. That's a lot.
Not perfect, but a total success in my mind. Nothing's ever perfect the first time they bring it out there, but hot off of a really rough marathon event, they nailed this one. So here's hoping.
And it brought people out of the woodworks too.
The prize structure, the top 10 of the winning team I mean, that's
all good
yes.
weeds. Yep.
I mean, you pretty
maybe
much
they could have evened that out where like some of the best performers and other flocks still got something. It is a bit of a bummer for whoever the losing flocks will be to basically go home with nothing besides some wearables.
Yeah.
But I guess those are the stakes of winning. So I mean, yeah, of course I'm saying that on the current winning
and
team.
To the point of if you're a top Coop, you've made pretty damn good money during this event. Most likely. At least,
I mean, if anything, they could do like this would be fun if they did something like this where they could figure out a balanced, structured team setup, right off the bat. But something like a year-end big blowout, like say there's four teams currently, so like have 4 tiers of prizing. And the best team gets the best stuff, and then it breaks down from there. So at least you're getting, even if you're 4th place in the team or 4th place in the rankings, you still get somewhat of a consolation of some sorts.
Well, Mr. James Plain is claiming they're the best team. We'll see. With the biggest challenges, Whammo is you're always trying to change things a little bit, aren't you? Lucky Clickers suck. How about that? And you're not going to catch the balkers. This is over. You might as well just quit.
I'm down to trade a Balkers uni for a Lucky Cluckers, so to anybody.
Really? I think y'all have the best one.
I know.
I like the Balkers.
But I'm going to have, don't you get like one every 500 points? So
we're going to get a couple,
got like about 10 coming my way.
It's true.
I go like 8.
Yeah, I threw shade. That was rude. You're right, Alaran. I can be rude with a smile. That's why I'm charming, maybe, or no one likes me.
Wow.
Anyway,
rude. That's.
That's right.
Anyways.
He's on the Egomaniacs. That's right. Sorry, Wham.
Oh.
You just seemed like someone who would be scheming around, but it is what it is. All right, moving on.
You don't even know.
Good
what
challenge,
team
a lot
I'm
of fun. Hopefully, this moves on to the next event being something we also want to jump into, but. What we do know is coming 100% is the Fusion airdrop starts this Friday.
Yes.
And then they said in the tweet today, soon after we would get details on the mint and the mint price, hopefully. I know long awaited. That's what everyone's really curious about, what the mint price is going to look like, what the supply is going to look like, and then how they're going to drop each thing. Is it going to be something that they just roll out all at once? We do know we are getting, for every bird that you reach 300 races, you'll be getting 1 serum. That is what we know for sure is dropping on Friday. And from there, we'll have to find out what's next.
How many wins?
What was that?
Win many. How many wins? Like, is it many?
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's going to be all at once? Tiered out.
I don't know.
And his soons variate. Sometimes soon's a couple hours, sometimes it's a couple days.
So
but still,
for clarity,
soon.
Just because we get our airdrop serums doesn't mean we can go and infuse birds right away. They're going to wait until they drop the mint and all that, right?
See, I feel like they should let us go in and fuse with what they've dropped to us to get some hype going for a mint.
Here's the deal.
You know what I mean?
Here's the deal. If something goes wrong, I know the beta went right and all good, but if something goes wrong live, you want it to happen in the first go round when it's us that have been hanging around for a while, because whatever they got to do to appease us, if they need to do something on a fix, then it's probably wise to, if it's available.
It's definitely possible. The only thing they've told us that we know for sure is Friday they drop. The tweet says exactly on Friday we're airdropping Fusion Serum to members of the Chicken Derby community. Then soon afterwards we'll be revealing fresh details on the Fusion Serum mint. So that's it. So we will hopefully find out a lot more. I know there's one thing that we've been discussing that we hope we find out a little bit more before.
I'm bulldozing you. Do those details have breeding included?
Well, that's where I was going.
In some form or fashion.
Stayed quiet and let me bulldoze.
No.
On that note, the one thing that I think people, besides the price, besides the supply and all that, we got a little bit of clarification during the last AMA that the drop down from spicy to robust racing wise is less than 10%. Those were just about exactly Deli's words. But what we don't know are any of the other perks that we'll get from breeding or farming from spicy to fused or spicy to robust. And I know that's something people would like to know before they decide to just go ahead and burn their spices, no matter how bad of racers they are. And whether or not we're going to get that, I kind of feel like we need to get that, right?
We need that, and we need to know if you're going to have comb and waddle as something that you can lock in. We have to have an idea of what that's going to do. Otherwise, what is the point in even fusing it?
Colors.
Why is anybody? But what does it do?
I want that color.
But we know that in the breeding in the past, they've had those split comb and waddles where they land with a different color. So, to me, those are the two main things. How does it impact breeding? But also, what does we're gonna have the ability to lock things in where we don't even know what they do. So how do you know you're burning a bird that's not already locked in with whatever comb and waddle does on its preferred whatever?
I think you're right, but I think like as far as what I've been seeing, as far like with everything, like MPO kind of tells you that. Because there were some birds that were fused, and if you go back to my stream, like 3 weeks ago, where I was solo and fusing birds, that talking to you, Spiver. If you want to learn about it, go back a couple weeks, watch that episode. But anyways, some birds were coming out. Like I fused a 95 Sultan striped alien teleport that was S-class.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you that things are lined up, I don't know what does, because that bird generally right now in its spicy form is a C-class MPO.
Right. So we touched on this a little bit last week, but we didn't go to a talk-heavy episode like we're going to shoot for tonight. During the AMA, or it was either during the AMA or it was during a talk before, where I think Al asked whether or not how the stackables would work. And with every single fusion integration, with every single stage that you do, there are the opportunities for things to stack up on each other. I think the definition they gave it was if you were taking a Dorking and a Sarama, and the Dorking had a 7 rating for terrain preference, and the Sarama had a 3, you'll get either a 7 or a 3. So you could get a Sarama that has the 7 stackable on top. So we know they'll stack, and we know there's the possibility for those things to jump. And I think everyone's excited about that. But what does that mean? Still, what does that mean for breeding? Go ahead, BAWK.
I don't think we're going to get a lot more than we have. We have a manifest with every chicken and their MPO. Got all their traits right there. I mean, that's a guide to chickens, if you will.
It is.
And there's I see no inclination for them to actually drop and lock themselves into details on breeding when it's so far out. Like then they'd be bound to those, right?
Here's the thing, like, I don't mean to interrupt, but I don't think I really need anything like textbook 45 pages in the tutorial on what breeding is coming, but just like some hints and thoughts. That's what's going into it. Like if a Sarama is actually like the A1 breeder, or like just like certain things like that, like just, little breadcrumbs, really. Like if you even just breadcrumbs, knowing before I go in and I burn the birds that I invested in, a lot of them a long time ago, that all the good ones anyways, that have the good traits that I would want to fuse and try and mix and match. It's tough for me to do that when it's my own wallet at risk here, right? Like it was easy when I was doing it 3 weeks ago on the test net, but like or not test net, but on the dev server, like but you know what I mean? Like it's just,
for instance,
I would like to know before I melt these things.
Of course.
What's the thing? I'd be completely satisfied, personally, completely satisfied if they simply even said something like, there will be advantages, there will be boosts, there will be some things that the spicy chickens have that the fused or bred chickens won't. They don't need to give me exact details. Just know that if you decide to fuse, you're sacrificing something in the future. Because I think there'll be people kind of frustrated if they find out later that their spicy birds could breed better, their spicy birds could farm better. We kind of assume that, but it'd be nice to know.
I kind of under the assumption that it's all fusion is breeding and losing the parents. It's the same algo they had in sight the whole time for breeding. Bad time to do breeding, right? We've got a lot big supply and everything like that. They took that same exact algo and they just 86'd and killed off the parents. Like that's how it feels.
Right.
But here's my question.
Okay. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say, here's my question though. Even if they come out and say that the breeding mechanic will be similar to what the fusion mechanic is outputting minus serum, right? I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I'm just going to wait for 100%. That because instead of having to melt these birds down and from 2 to 1, I can breed 100%. Them and have the same chance at these mutations anything with a robust baby. You know what I'm saying? I think
the difference may be you don't get like what you're showing here. You don't get the hidden talents and the runic and the plucked and all that. You only get that from fusion, and you have to burn the parents in order to get these special deals.
Right.
Breeding is just going to take their whatever they have currently and use that same algorithm and spit out a combination of those two birds. But you gain a bird.
Right. That's what I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, BAWK, but I think that's what you were getting at, is that they're using the same breakdown, the 50-50 flips, essentially. But if you want the mutations and you want those boosts, you need to use the serums and you go for the mutations.
And that's all I'm saying. And I'm just saying, even if they came out and just flat out said something along those lines, or like I said, just breadcrumbs of like maybe like, hey, we don't have a boost physically for like a classic bird, but they're the better breeders. Maybe that can become their thing. I don't know, but that would be good to know before I go and fuse one.
If your spicy birds are a boost in farming, and the more spicy birds you have on your land, people are going to be really pissed off whenever they've shortened their coops down. You know, whenever they could have set those to the side and utilize those in whatever the farming aspect is going to be. We've got to know. The more you know stuff, the more people are going to utilize it. Right.
Yeah, I've been of the same mentality, that you're saying there from the go. As long as we know what the future holds, we can plan towards it. And that has always been the key to this, either communication, that when they're communicating well or when the communication is lacking. It's all based on how much do we know? How much can they give us? I know they're trying to keep some things back, and I understand that part of it. Like B-Time is saying, breeding should be token plus wheat fees. Okay. Yeah. And they probably can't tell us that yet, because that's not
we don't
set
need
in
that.
stone yet. That's okay. But I do agree that'll be really cool if we actually have a token and wheat fees to be able to do that.
What
but
if you got a token
bare minimums
as
we
you
can
fused? Get a breeding token for every two birds you fuse.
There's definitely things you can do.
If they do that, they've got to implement it up when they start fusing, unless they're going to go back in and down the road a year from now and give everybody a breeding token for every fused bird. I guess
sure, as long as you're keeping track in per wallet, no different than races, they could retroactively do that.
Right, we're getting that drop in a couple of days, so they can obviously do that.
And then Monday is Monday. We get the drop on Friday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday, the favorite deli line
they like Mondays.
of a Monday, we may be fusing birds. I don't know.
They took their time. They took their time for sure, but I would still, the way the roadmap on the website looks, obviously, so tomorrow, we don't know much about this at all. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But tomorrow we'll begin applications for the Chicken Derby Council, which was a fun little chat we had this morning. So that's what's up next. And then, of course, Fusion Airdrop on the 31st. And then from there, we have early season, April 1st, and then flock prizes on the 3rd. The Reggaebo, which is coming on the 4th. Get ready, Mon. That's on the 4th. That's the new event.
Do we get Rasta hats finally?
I would assume we're finally going to get them. Yeah.
Beer hats too. Win beer hats.
But here's the crazy thing. Maybe it's because maybe they can move these, but then it says vote for your council, the 12th of April. Meet your council the 14th of April, late season 16th of April, and then it says Fusion Serum Mint
Season
details.
9 will be sublime.
Yeah, I'm guessing
420
that
theme.
very very possible. I'm guessing these will be moved. Like they can take the Fusion Serum Mint and just push it forward. I don't think we're gonna have to wait until the 12th for Fusion.
No, it's
But
because
yeah,
there's not a data signed. It's the
right.
first
That's
one
it.
to have a data
I think
signed.
that's it. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
that's good to know. Hope maybe we do see it as quickly as Monday. I know they like to launch things in that type of sequence. So
April.
yeah, April. Excited for that part of it. What about what was the other part here? Well, yeah, I guess naturally the next thing to get into is staying on in the vein of Fusion. Let's talk about price and supply. How we feel like that. I know we've all kind of had our thoughts on price and supply, but I guess we can just go right down the line. We can start with BAWK. Start us off. I know you've talked about it before. What do you hope price and supply is going to look like when we get some details on Friday?
Man, I'm pretty solid on the price being around $3-5.
Excuse me.
I think you mentioned something about the price of ETH fluctuating and made me think the thought. Not to jump on your answer that hopefully didn't change. But supply, I'm not sure. Like, what? I kind of want to fly. I want to see a bunch of birds out there fused. I want to see Runix. I want to see talent stacked. I want to see that 93 beat a bird in an A.
Well, I mean,
right.
You want to see these
Wait your turn, Josh. I'm
plucked in
taking
Runix with these hidden talents.
Yeah,
like I want to see more of that.
That's the excitement. All those new fuses.
Shut your mouth, Tyler.
So $3 to $5 is that range. Does anyone else feel like it's going to be different than that?
No, I mean, I'm cool with that. I mean, I hope that these serums are earned by racing and that there is a incentive to race behind getting these serums instead of somebody, you can go buy 10 serums for $50 or you can race 1,000 races, and or whatever that looks like and get 10 serums. How, you know what I mean?
It would be at least cool if nothing else for tournaments and events. You could
gotta be incentives. It's to me, it's not a expense for them to offer those as and it gets people to work towards a fusion. So
X percentage of the supply and just make that giveaway stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
We mentioned before about this event being good for like discovering new birds. Maybe I want to buy 2 birds, race them 500 times and see if I want to fuse them together and get a good idea. And I gain their serums and now I can burn them.
I mean, I feel like it's got to be, I thought there's been discussion in the previous
you can go now. Go ahead,
AMA. I don't need your permission. A second version of fusion serum, right? Like a V2 2.0.
Yeah.
So I mean, I cap it. But here's the other thing. I don't think you can release all of them in one shot, right? I feel, like open tap. Like I would keep it limited, keep it short, keep it low. Make it draw interest, right? Like let the first one sell out and let us do some crazy shit. And because I mean, it's not, and you can't make it too expensive, but also you have to have that balance of, do 18 serums to lock in black hole, and that's just one thing. I mean, that stuff racks up. So I mean, $10 a pop, that's $180 right there. Not to mention the 2 birds that you're fusing. If one of them had a black hole, you probably paid like 0.2 for that thing at one point in time, right? So, I mean, it adds up. So, I mean, you can't go too crazy with it.
Spiver says, I don't need your permission. Sounds like a couple's argument. That's because it is.
Here's another thought. If they're earned, right? I'm just speaking for me personally. I'm not going out and spending $100 to go burn 2 of my birds. Sorry. I will, though, race to earn serums to burn a few of my birds, though.
But here's my question, though.
Hold on. Another thing that I will do, though, I would like to earn those serums and sell them for $4 to get racing funds when they're on the market for $5. So it gives me as the consumer of the game an ability to get small little pieces back for those that want to fuse their birds as well.
There will be something there, and that is, I think that's what Josh is alluding to. With like, are we gonna, if you drop them all at once, then inevitably there will be people
because
that
then
will buy them in secondary.
Just right there,
cheaper.
you've got Blake wanting to sell them for $1 less than what they're minting for. Well, then like if 10 other people do that, it's that, bro. I've got PTSD from Top Shot watching this shit
first thing
live.
I wanted to say, you're gonna Top Shot me, you mother.
No
All
matter
these people want to make liquidate and get that fucking quick dollar, and it just snowballs all the way down to the.
But if it's open and it's
they had
a
$1
market,
minimum on
here's
all
the
their
difference
stuff, so
between
I mean, you
this.
couldn't go below it. It's just like you just gave me flashbacks. I'm
The
sorry.
difference between this and Top Shot is we have a circulating economy to put that money back into. Whereas, yeah, you could go buy more Top Shot moments or whatever, but this, like, it $4 isn't, but it gives that look, it gives somebody to race to either earn your serums and burn your birds, or if there's other people out there that would like to buy serums for less than $5 too.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. It's very possible, and we'll see where that comes down to. On the note of just like how supply is going to work, how the mint is going to come down, something just happened in Cluck Norris just today. Our good friend Crypto Poppy from the Pirates of the Metaverse just popped in for the first time into Cluck Norris in a long time, and he just wanted to know some details. He's like, yeah, he's super wrapped up with his project, but still, it's the first time he's seen anything with Fusion so far. And yes, Fusion's been around for a minute, and for us living in this nice little echo chamber and this nice little tunnel that we have, of course we know it's here. Of course we know it's coming. And he's actually said that this is the only real main point of this was he actually said the Fusion tweet today was the first Chicken Derby tweet I've seen in my timeline in a while. So it makes me wonder again, this was a thought I had forever ago. How many people simply don't know what we're doing here? Tudamoon on a rocket ship of tears.
Great name.
A total mouthful. They recently came back. He minted 100 birds and came back and decided to start racing because he just happened to realize, oh, this game not only is functional, but it's smooth as hell and it's going well, and now he's racing.
Poseidon's back too.
Yeah,
he was racing some.
Poseidon said, when there's volume, I'll race. Like it was so, there.
I really do just wonder, like, if, and I'm not Poppy to do this, but if if all of a sudden someone like Poppy just like, well, check this out, and then that goes there, and all of a sudden it starts to circulate. You never know with these degens. We know what they'll do. So once this kind of gets out there, people may show up to mint these things quickly. We don't know. The NFTs are Web3 very weird, especially around mints, and especially I think, like we mentioned before, if there is a possibility to take a runic bird that costs nothing, 2 serums, whatever that's going to be, and the 2 birds, and flip that for 0.2, 0.3, depending on what we actually pull out, who knows what people will show up to do that. So it could get really interesting to see that supply number. So I guess the supply number is really where we're at. What we think there's got to be a sweet spot, but I'm not quite sure.
I don't think you can drop too many of them and have an open market on them initially without running into issues. I mean, you want to create supply and demand, right?
Right.
So like
the demand has to create this, in my mind, has to lead to the supply.
Right. But you can't, like, you get where I'm going with it. Like, and Allred said it in the chat.
Looking now.
It'll be erased down to 0 if it doesn't sell out. So I mean, where is that sweet spot? Like, I know a lot of us have been racing, and a lot of us are getting serums airdropped to us. And if you're even on the fence of wanting to try and fuse, you're probably going to use your airdrop serums first. And then if you're like, I don't know about that, are you going to mint, right? And how many would you mint? Would you spend 0.05 on minting?
So have you guys done the Rainmakers burn tokens? Are you familiar with those? Okay. Yep. So they're like, the base model is on the market for $2, right? Now they're releasing these though in batches. So they might release like 20,000 at a time. or whatever. And if it sells, but it's not a thing of if it sells out, it matters, because as people buy them to burn, they're creating that market in itself. It can sit there for $2, and if people want to go in and burn something, they can go in and buy it for $2. It could be an unlimited supply, so to speak, but it doesn't have to. It could be limited in drops and batches. Does that make sense? So it could be unlimited.
It all depends how they want to do that. And really, it all depends on what the total supply number is. If it's, I don't even know.
Couldn't they just drop 2,000 and just see how it goes? If they sell out in 5-10 minutes, I'm just throwing out a number. I'm just throwing out a number.
The supply has to be high enough that it's not going to be a quick commodity too. Like you can't be if it's too low, because I full guarantee there's going to be people coming into this mint that probably don't even own birds. Like they don't even own a bird. They're like, it's a mint. Holy frick! Look, give me in. I want all in. Throwing down and eat. People.
Especially if it gets some push anywhere. If anyone gives it a little nudge, who knows what happens? People love mints.
Well, that's just it. Like that's where you have to be delicate. I feel
to me, it's
the
a problem.
Ecosystem is very delicate. We know how many people are racing, right? We know how many people are racing just in general. So, like, you take like probably 50% of those people that are actually going to fuse.
Yeah,
I mean,
and to be real with y'all, I would still love to see some type of secondary airdrop. Something for owning. I don't know. I know it's not in the plans, but I know this is a game where so far we've all been very much rewarded for racing. But if all of a sudden, like Triple Poppy has 110 birds, and I don't think he's getting any. Well, and all of a sudden he got some dropped in, and he tweets out, "Hey, I just got these dropped me just for owning." That's the weird kind of shit that kind of makes things pop.
What if you actually utilize the roles in the chat? Like, say if you're like a Cluck Norris, you get X amount of serums. If you're a Attila the Hen,
I think the only problem there is that it's not working properly.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, give that some utility or purpose, right? Like,
one thing I'll point out is if it sells out too, then now you can't get a serum for $5. They're going to be more than that, right?
So now those stupid things are 50.
You almost need enough to where it's not going to sell out, to where it allows somebody to go in there and buy it for $5. And yes, you're going to have people, as I was mentioning before, where they're going to sell them for $4. But that again only adds to more people that confuse. It just creates more of the fusion. It shouldn't be there as something that is designed to run out. It should always be there. If somebody wants to fuse, they can buy one for a minimum of $5. Or maximum $5. I mean,
that's where you wonder if we're going to see. Crazy Day said again 33,333. Yeah, sure, that would very much mimic what we had before. Could it be as high as 100K? Is that something that
sure.
But then we run into that problem of like, will it sell out? Will people undercut? Yeah, it's possible. Okay, that could always happen, but
that's fine though. It should because now you're just guaranteeing that you're not going to have a serum that's $30. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a bigger problem. Then nobody's going to fuse. Everybody's just going to hoard serums and sell them because now they're making a profit, right?
And maybe at the end, if people really want a runic and they never got one, and they're like, all right, I'm going to buy a few more of these serums and take a shot at it, and see what happens. Maybe you'll see that happen down the line, or maybe they wait for breeding. But
well, I mean, if you put a cap on anything and eventually runs out, the price is going to rocket to whomever's holding, right? So it eventually comes to a head anyways. So what?
Sorry, Crazy J is such a dick. Ross just asked, isn't the fixing the bot a pretty easy thing, or am I dense? And Crazy says, it seems like it takes nerds a long time to do anything unless they really want it. How do you feel about that, BAWK?
I have no idea how to make a Discord bot, but it can't be that freaking hard.
That's fair. That's fair.
Ross, real talk, how much do we think the first 94 runic goes for MPOB? I'd say 0.5. in this current market. The first
0.5?
You don't think so?
That's a lot, man. Like, I don't know. Like,
thinking like 0.2 maybe?
If it was 0.2, I think that's pretty damn good. Like, it all depends.
But how often are we going to see them? That's
selling
the thing.
right now?
Good birds are selling. Good birds are selling, and cheap birds are selling.
That's
but
it's going to come down. I was just guessing. Damn, Wham!
This is why shit can't be in public, because people get ridiculed when they say,
"Hit me with the 5 question marks."
Oh, I got a bird for you too, Wham! Believe me.
Yeah, we are spitting off the cuff. This is not any thought out shit here. So,
but it'll come down to how long is it going to take for the first runic bird to actually get fused on the dev server. I mean,
I have a suspicion.
I mean, think about it. We've got robots going for like 0.5 at at certain points in time. They've crept way down,
and they don't do anything.
But like they don't do like fucking
the runic blink.
Blink dash.
Tyler, you brought up a good question of how long it's going to be until we see some of these.
Mm-hmm.
I have a sneaky suspicion that some of these might be tilted towards the front. Because they're gonna want some of these birds to pop off. Like if we don't have a runic for 2 months, it.
I mean, it's 1 in 200, so I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a standard.
But just like there aren't gonna be that many, I can't imagine. Just like plucked. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one.
A lot of monster birds.
How many runics came out during beta fusion testing? I'd say there was at least 4 or 5 runics.
A handful? I was gonna say I've seen a handful of different ones.
I think I was the only one to fuse a plucked chicken.
You were the only one that I saw share.
That I saw.
Maybe someone did and just didn't share.
I didn't see any out on the racetracks though.
Well,
but I never saw it do feather rain either. I was waiting, watching races. Like, come on, do something, and
and I
never did it. Yeah,
that's a good point. Good point. They couldn't front load it within the contract anyways or anything like that.
There'll be one the first day. I can tell you right now. 24 hours. You're
gonna see some monster birds the first day.
Right, crazy. Robots are 0.2 right now, but there's 100 of them. Ross said the first runic. I mean,
he said a 94 though. It was a 94 runic that he mentioned.
Blink dash.
94 could be good in MPOB. Who knows?
New talent. One talent. Only bird with it. I don't
know. So yeah.
You're going to see some big birds first day.
Well, I think mainly because people are going to be going for it. Like they're going to be smashing birds. Yeah.
And it's
very possible. Yes.
Josh was saying, and you guys were fusing the crap out of birds left and right. Mm-hmm. You probably fused more in the first day than we'll see in the first. We're going to get a spurt off right after the beginning, but you guys were fusing a lot.
I mean, think of all these mutations, right? Like if you get super lucky, like there were some that had double mutations, like that had a beak.
Yep.
And runic, or eyes and a runic. Like if you mix and match the correct ingredients. Like I did a fan group black and a fan group black. Didn't lock anything in, and it came out with a magic beak.
Question:
sparkle beak.
On like for instance the button eyes. Do you have to have a fused bird that has blue egg in order for it to even give you button eyes, or is it possible that if I have chicken or poult, I could get blue eyes?
Yeah, we tried it. No, there was other birds that had other things. We had buttons.
We locked it in, but I fused buttons. I locked in blue egg and English mustard and came out with buttons on the other side.
Okay, but it wouldn't be if you had blue egg. You couldn't get Cyclops.
No, you can. That's the thing.
It's 1 in 49.
So that's actually that would actually.
This is just a flat out. Everything is dice rolled. It's simple as that.
Okay.
Every single time that it goes to the eyes.
How does that? How would that?
I would be curious though if it's weighted. If you've got the right ingredients, it may be a better chance.
But they're telling us 1 in 149. I know we're having fun with the idea, but I believe it's as simple as this.
Don't go all Dave on me.
I'm doing it. When I'm not going Dave, I'm going logic. When the eyes pop in,
slaps me with the logic,
smack you around with the logic. When eyes pops up, and it's time to determine what the eyes are, and the bird has shocked eyes and angry eyes. Before the shocked or angry eye 50-50 flip happens, the 1 in 149 roll happens first. If that hits, everything's negated. You get one of the specialized. If it doesn't hit, then it goes to the 50-50 flip. And it just does that over and over again for each one. It does that for everything preceding the 50-50 flip. You see if you hit that. It's the same idea with the runic blink. They said the runic blink will go off sometimes, and you'll also get your standard talent sometimes. So the special talent, the special roll goes off first, and then if that doesn't hit, the regular roll happens second.
But go back. So use that same logic theory to the runic then. Go back up, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot get a runic and a stripes though, right? You cannot get a runic and a plucked.
I got a runic and a plucked because I locked them in.
Yeah, all these things run first. The translucents run first. All the special rolls run first. And if none of them hit, then you get the 50-50 jump. Or if you locked Floofy, if you locked Royal Violet, then it doesn't run it at all. Then you just get the Royal Violet.
Didn't I show you the crispy grilled plucked?
Yeah, the crispy grilled. You can,
yes, I saw the striped plucked.
But you cannot do stripes and runic.
Can't get runic and stripes, yeah.
The lock actually happens there.
Can you get a translucent and a runic?
No.
If it's runic or runic, you can get striped translucent, but runic is in and of itself, it cannot be bettered. So
yeah, because I've got a striped translucent red.
Right.
Striped plucked is like striped plucked is seriously the coolest thing ever.
The grilled chicken.
It's good. It's real good.
So it would kind of suck if you got one of those eyes, for instance, and you didn't match up to your talent. You would almost have to just
you'd have to do it again, especially if you knew the boost was there. Like
or breed it. Or breed it.
I just happened to get lucky apparently with buttons and a blue egg, and of course the first race we ran the mutation, I shat out 2 blue eggs. It was wild. It was fun.
Right.
I suspect. So I really suspect there's many other folks that are gonna probably do like what I'm thinking. I'm losing 20 birds the first day probably. I'm seriously. I'm going 20 deep. I'm going to see if I can get. They're all 90s or 91s. So nothing special, and just slam those 20, and hopefully I get something.
They gotta
20.
They gotta figure out a way. 200. They gotta figure out a way so you guys don't lose your Cluck Norris status. If you fuse all those birds.
They said that already.
I had 200 birds at one point. Now I've got 20.
They asked Deli, and he was literally like, "Yeah, technically you would, but we wouldn't know unless you tell us."
So if you don't go in and re-register or update,
the only thing that Cluck Norris is a secret chat that just gives you anxiety. That's really all you want. Cluck Norris.
It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's not like some dream channel.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Like you could do an airdrop based off of status like that and give it some use. I don't know. Because if you go 1-to-1, like you might as well not even have a mint because there's 33,333 chickens. So if you go 1-to-1, that like already mass dumps fusion serums out into the world. So I don't know.
Right.
But really, like if you've got 20 birds and you got 20 serums dropped to you because you haven't raced, then you can really only fuse what? I mean, if you want to lock in some good traits, you really only got enough to fuse maybe
much of nothing,
two or three times, maybe
much of nothing, right? Yeah, that's where it could get crazy addictive, and that's where I'm really hoping that it stays around that $5 mark. And BAWK alluded to it earlier, 100% right. I was saying that even if ETH went on a crazy ride over the next couple months, it would have to double to get to $10. So and that's probably not going to happen. And even if it does, it's $10. Okay, and we already had the ETH, and we probably all DCA'd as it was going up and all that shit. But still, and if it drops, then it's in that $3 to $5 range anyway. So to me, that price makes a lot of sense.
I mean, smart money's on cheap mutation or cheap fusions until you hit a mutation. Then that's when you build a chicken.
Right, because
that's where
it burning 2 serums.
Right, just 2 serums fusing chickens until I hit a mutation. Then it's like, all right, where am I putting that?
That's where I was heading with that. Is then I've got those 20 birds sitting at the bottom of my coop. I slam those together, get a mutation, and I've got this jerk face 100 Sultan, and I throw those together, or several others I've got. But like, yeah, then bam, got like a super bird in who knows what class? Probably D, my luck. But
well, I mean, here's the flip side to that. Like, while we did see some birds that were like super crazy high MPOs, we also did see some birds that were like super low MPOs, but like a 95 with some certain talent, but like clearly nothing matching up. Because if it wouldn't, like a 94, 90 something Sarama was like MPO D, and that's impossible right now because no Saramas can go down to D.
But being that we had no clue what most of these birds, they weren't our birds. Some of the birds we knew them because someone's like, "Oh, it's my bird. This is what it is." But largely, we didn't know what the stats were for these birds, so we just slammed them together. No one is actually doing anything strategic. As much as I wanted to slam birds together, I kind of feel like every time I fuse a bird, I want to race it a bit because if I did align some shit in there, then I may already have a great bird and there's no point in me doing it anymore. So
the only smart fuse that I pretty much did was with Wham's bird that he knew was sand and gave it moving walkway, and that thing was ridiculous.
Was like 7, 5, and 2 in like 25 or something ridiculous.
I should log in and check it.
It was wild. It was a strong bird, and it was only racing against
97 lack. It was ridiculous.
Beating Spices, yeah.
Your strong Spices that you guys have today, you're not going to fuse those, are you? Are you going to burn your best?
Not my good racers.
That's what I'm saying. No. So you're going to hold on to those as they are.
I have some high perfection ones that aren't very good.
Right. Right. Now I'm not talking about those.
But if it's already a good racer, I'm not fusing those. No. As much as I badger BAWK to try to give Eggy Grado a black hole, he's not going to do
it. I'm probably going to look to start off my fusion with birds that have that really, really low win percentage and a bunch of second and thirds.
They suck, or they're just
bad birds.
But my question is if you haven't discovered them, are you making your best fusing decision at that point, or does it make sense to discover them first and then to fuse even those low hanging birds, BAWK? Because I'm talking to you over here. Even if does it make sense for you to run them in E class or whatever to discover them? Or are you just going to throw caution at the wind?
They were $15.
Well, that's true. That's true. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I know what you're saying. I have like 390 Sultans sitting in D with common talents. I can't find myself to run them. I don't think they're going to be very good. They might be. I don't know. But I can't. First off, I don't want to spend whatever it's going to cost to run them 100 times. They get a base idea. And I get what you're saying. Like, you don't want, like, I don't know. If I have a 97 lack, I'm going to make sure that bird sucks first before I fuse it. But if I have a 90 lack, fuck it.
Right. I'm pretty sure you can say any 90 and 91 that doesn't have some type of special trait like a white beak or stripes
probably
or whatever.
Doing it, yeah.
Probably worth just
rare talent or something. Yeah. Probably.
But here's the thing, you could do that over and over again. And we have like we said, the barometer is what MPO is it given? And I mean, and if you just play off of that with cheap birds, it might get a little expensive. It might be a little time consuming, but eventually you're going to fucking hit pay dirt and something's going to come out that's, you've got a 90 Lackenfelder, but it's got MPOC, and it's like, okay, now we're cooking with something here. Something is good with this bird.
Yeah.
Let's go race it and figure it out. I don't know.
You're probably best in that spot too. Like you're best in that C roll or possibly B, where that's where your volume is. I mean, if you got like a C monster, you can crush into B as well and move around a little. Hopefully, dynamic POP coming back with a minimum pop. That you could have just a monster sitting there.
But I'm also motivated to create something like I did in beta with like that 95 striped Sultan. Like I would have raced the shit out of that in S class until I was bleeding, just to like prove that does this bird belong here.
It'd be interesting, man. It'd be
like I would want to do that, and I you know what I mean. Like I would want to know if I could beat the 100 Brahmas on their best day, on my best day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the degen in me, though. You know.
So is the goal almost to not fuse an S bird? You almost want to
like
fuse
I said,
I
want to see it work, right? Like I want to see that work.
But you know that once it hits S, it's pretty much locked into purgatory because it's not going to have the ability to get its full ROI potential out of it.
But if you're making more S birds and adding more to the racing population and adding more parity,
But the cool thing is, like, if I fuse to a bird and it's an S bird, and I race it in S and it sucks, then I could just fuse it again and try to get it down to A. And go,
or breed it, because again, whatever this is
right, you still breed,
because whatever if it got bumped up, let's say it's like a 94 and all of a sudden it gets bumped up to S and you're like, whoa, this whatever's matching here, right? Same type of deal. Maybe it's a breeding.
Attaboy, Wham. I got some 98 Ceramas primed for fusion.
Well, I was about ready to fuse my 97 Cerama until I figured out where it was actually good at. Now I like him.
Did you get that with MPO, with the latest round of changes? Were you able to ascertain that?
Yeah, and mostly just that bird had a lot of races on it already, just ran all over the place, and I was still kind of spamming it, trying to figure it out, and it's got rollerblades, and then I was like, oh shit, it's snow, and then just started running the hell out of snow in the last like 2 months, and it's like, wow, this bird's actually decent.
I'll tell you, man, like I have bitched so many times about my 97 Lackenfelder black hole on this show, the oncoming storm, and now, for no good fucking reason whatsoever, in this season, they are 11% win, 35% podium. So these things are going to keep changing as we go. And I was 100% set. I was like, fuck this bird. I am fusing this bird. I hate this bird. Now probably not.
I mean, I've got bad.
Things are changing as we go.
I've got nightmare stories too of birds that were really good and now are just like, I don't want to race you right now because
this bird.
Yeah,
this bird has fucking
Jackie Daytona has relegated herself back to the doghouse. I was liking her there for a while, and now I'm like, you don't quite do so well on track anymore. Why?
It's an ever-changing game. That is 100% for sure.
Floopy's the same bet. Floopy's having all the same problems. Can't really do and see every now and then nothing.
So. Also on the note of, we talked about, do we want to know more about any type of breeding before we get into fusion? What about like land? What about like what chickens do for land and how they interact with land and farming? Like those things could be. I understand that, but also I'm not asking for much, just breadcrumbs. I just don't want to see people make mistakes early on, and then 6 months, 7 months later, all of a sudden this information comes out, and it's like, well, shit, I just burned some of the best birds in the game, and now they're not even half as good as they were because I fucked them up.
I would be completely satisfied with just a run of yes or no questions, meaning like, will there be breeding boosts for spicy over fused? Yes. Okay, great. Good to know. Robust. I don't need to know what they are yet. Cool.
Will spicy be the better breeder all around? It should be, I think.
Are there any advantages to spicy when it comes to breeding or farming? That's all we need to know.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. And if that answer's yes, then okay, maybe people have a touch more trepidation, and that's fine because it's better that we know. But still,
right. I don't want a full thesis or like a full 8-page piece in the tutorial explaining it all. I don't need all that. I don't think anyone's reasonably information overload. Right. I just want to know, pros and cons. A little bit, right?
And we don't even need to know all the pros and cons necessarily. If there's an advantage, and we know that spicy holds a farming advantage, for instance, that might BAWK. And again, they're only $15. I get it. But to BAWK's point of somebody burning 20 of their lowest birds, you know what I'm saying?
A question as simple as this. With the racing boosts that are implemented with all of the things in birds, will there be something similar with farming? along those lines.
Right.
All the cosmetics, all the things. Will there be something somewhat of boosts that go towards farming? And yes, we know a couple like Machete and Dig. They told us those things a long time ago. But the other things,
hopefully they're still there
out there, like a robot. Can a robot farm nonstop because it's
forever?
a robot? Like that's the thing. Like other chickens get tired. Does a robot go forever? Like these are the things I'm talking about. Will there be similar boosts to farming / breeding as there is currently with the birds? I mean, obviously boosts carry over with the breeding, but you get what I'm saying. Like in the farming aspect,
because
that possible?
On this note, I don't have to guess. I don't even have to forecast. I've seen plenty of people say they will be pretty pissed if they find out later on that these advantages were there and they didn't want to tell us beforehand, and now we're stuck in a spot. Yeah, that's it. I believe that we have to know.
And to my point earlier about there's only one thing we don't know of what it even pertains to when it comes to fusing, and that's comb and wattle. If that's something we can it's locking in, I'm going to be pissed if I burn and I can't, you know what I'm saying? And I would have locked that in to get my perfect match on my bird. You know what I mean?
Put it on Blake's tombstone. What the fuck does comb and wattle do?
Not even, I don't even need to know.
I know.
I don't need to know sense. Like it's boost, for instance. I just need to know that this pertains to talent preference, track preference, or distance preference.
Just tell us what comb and wattle means, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you locking it in?
Candy boys.
Candy boys.
Candy boys sounds terrible. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
So I think you have to assume. You have to straight off assume that a spicy is probably going to have a boost in farming and a boost in breeding that a robust doesn't. I think you just have to assume that. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to give us the details of what breeding entails, but you have to assume that it is that.
Or even along the lines of can spices breed indefinitely or infinity? Like, and then robust, there are only like 8 breeds that you get with the robust, and then so on. Like it decreases with each generation, like how many times you can breed. I don't know. These are just things I'm spitballing, but like they're also things that would be good to know.
To BAWK's point on that, like if we don't, I hope we get something. I really do. That is, I know the community's asked for it. I know they're considering. It's on their list of things that we've brought up to them. So hopefully they do consider it. If we don't get it, then yeah, I will assume that there are advantages. I will go into it with that assumption. I hope I don't have to go into it with that assumption, but I would. It makes sense. Plausibly, it makes sense. But still, I don't think it's a big ask. I really don't.
But here's the thing. If it's not an advantage, then more people would fuse. So now you're just holding back the fusion if you're not saying one way or the other. Again, this is because if you assume that it is a boost, then you're going to sit on some of those spices. And again, you might throw darts at a handful, but if I think it's going to have a big boost on farming, and what does that farming do? Who knows? Do you get 5 serums per week of farming that one bird?
Or if you take a page out of the unicorns book, maybe you got to get X amount of this and X amount of that, and then you can make something like that.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many possibilities with it. It would just be nice to know any type of breadcrumb that we could.
That's fair.
Just knowing what we're getting into, because like I said, like Tyler said, and like the community has said, or some individuals, it will really be frustrating if we find out down the road, something that we could have done with like other things in the game we ruined because we didn't know about them. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. If this wasn't a burning mechanic, we wouldn't have the need to know necessarily.
Right.
But because this is a burning mechanic, you kind of need to lay out the pros and cons of the future of the game, of how these are going to affect it. Because again, otherwise, let's just burn the birds and lower the overall supply of our birds if that's the overall goal, right?
Good point. Yeah.
So,
it's a good point.
Right. So let's.
Yes.
We've been circling that wagon for a while. So
anyone else final thoughts or forever hold your peace? Okay. I feel good. I feel good about it.
Bird laws here. The lawyer. Are there any implications that we should know about before fusing birds?
I'm bad at showing up on time.
So I think it's a good time to talk about what we've got moving forward with some streams and the old BAWK board that we introduced last week. BAWK's been hard at work on it, and Tyler, why don't you?
Yeah, right. Josh and I had a little brainstorming session, brought it to the group, and we think this makes a lot of sense. BAWK is a madman and worked today to get it rolling so we can get moving towards it. We already have the Power Hour on Wednesdays, where it's 1 hour of crazy racing. You go for it. It's kind of felt like we were mimicking that in some way, or at least it was two of the same things. So we've wanted to run, and this was BAWK's main thing. He was when he wanted to make these. He wanted to make it so there was always something to be racing for. So we want to put together week-long events that end every single stream at 9:30. So that's 30 minutes into the show. Yep. That's when the event will end. That's actually when this event already began. But
if for any reason that we don't get to go live, we still know who wins, and we'll document that and pick the winner of such.
Even if it's just a quick stream, we pop up and do it. The BAWK board is live. We'll make sure we put that out. Tomorrow I will put out an announcement to the whole Discord that will have the prizes for this week and the link to the BAWK board and exactly what it is. But in this, we're going to keep it real simple because we've done it a couple times this way. We're going to variate as much as we want because, BAWK, you've told me we can do whatever we want with this, and it's going to be fun. But it's pretty simple for this week. Beat the Coop Collective. The four of us racing, you find us in a race, you beat us, you get a point. Everyone in the top 10 will then be put into a raffle. We will then have 3 prizes. We're going to have a chicken. We're going to have 2 fusion serums. And we're going to have a 548 barn. And obviously, when you win, you choose what you want.
Maybe even a wearable thrown in there, yeah?
I think we could do that. I think we
throw a wearable in there.
Yeah,
something spicy.
Everyone in the top 10 gets a beta medal. I have 19 of them.
Oh!
You can have them.
God. I'd
rather beta medals. It's fine.
You're about to say the same thing about your little bows from your headdress that you're gonna get, or whatever, from your cheerleading outfit. Don't you get?
I got the bows. I'm not gonna get the 5K. I'm not
getting the pom pom on the neck, the neck pom, the loofah.
Did you get a bow for every 300 or something? Was that the points?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna get like 30 bows.
So yeah, BAWK. Anything we can know about? Oh god.
That pom pom is like the biggest ball kick of a wearable ever.
I didn't love it.
In fact, it should be 2 balls instead of a pom pom. There should just be nuts hanging down.
They should have
on the
appreciate the effort.
Trailer.
They should have done something like it didn't even need to be like a cheerleader wearable, just something all out, because 5,000 points is like ridiculous.
Even just like a first place medal, like a legit first place medal would have been cool. Some kind of a necklace there. I'm not sure, but yeah, the pom pom is what it is. They don't all hit. And it's fine. The Sacco, as Teamwork is calling it.
Yes.
They don't all hit, but I still appreciate the gesture that they're at least giving something there.
Yeah.
But, so, BAWK, anything about the board we need to know? It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. We'll drop the link out. This is, we got some test data up here, actually, what we're seeing.
Yep.
I was running from earlier, but it is running live right now. I'll flip it over to the live here in just a minute. But yeah, you're getting a point every time you beat one of us. I ran the numbers backwards just for fun, and there was a pretty good point count. So that was it's exciting to see. It's going to be growing. It looks like it'll update about 4 times a day. So it'll be you can see it live, see where you're at on that chart, and get yourself into the top 10 and get some fun stuff.
And double entering does work. Don't forget, double entering will double up your points. So.
I am hoping that maybe one of these weeks we'll get a Mike Trout versus Shohei Ohtani moment for that, where it's like during the final race or those last couple minutes before 9:30, the winner is decided. I think that'd be really cool. Hopefully we can manufacture something like that down the line. But it's going to be fun because we're going to come up with different ways for us to race. That way there's always something to go for. And of course, for the first one here, this will be for everybody. A lot of these prizes will be exclusive for the 548 holders. That's something we're doing to help them and give back and create some utility and value for the 548 barns. This one for everybody. There'll be prizes for everyone. There'll be prizes specifically for the 548. We'll make sure we tell everyone that ahead of time. But yeah, we want to have people have a chance here. The reason we're doing a raffle in this case is that we don't just want the person who runs the most to win this week. So we'll do a raffle in the top 10, and we'll come up. BAWK and I were talking about putting together some type of average points. We'll run some U tournaments. We'll do some wearable tournaments, all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah. And if you see us, if you're looking on here and you see a Coop Collective member, I don't have it pulling our names out kind of for fun. Because if I, look up on MBF, I want to be able to brag on it too. So you'll see us in here. We don't qualify for prizes or anything like that, but for the draws. But it's kind of fun for us to compete along with you, and y'all can see where you're at on us beating ourselves.
Yeah, we're just as competitive, so it's good to know.
Yeah, we should just for the hell of it, we should just keep a tally of who wins each week. So we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll keep it up there.
That sounds fun, guys.
What is loser gonna do?
We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out there.
Fun. I do. I actually
I'll take a nutsack necklace.
There you go. I'll make one for you.
I will tease something. I'll tease something for a future event. This is going to be so cool because this first one I have no doubt it's going to go out without a hitch. But when fusion event, when is it? When I race a bird that's been fused, I get points.
Ooh.
For a fused bird, possibly, huh? Mm-hmm. It pays out a fused bird. Maybe we fuse that bird live on the air. I don't know.
I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to take two birds. I've been wanting to give someone a winner, take two birds, fuse it together, and whatever the hell they get, they get. I would absolutely love to do that. Just take two random birds, two fuse live on stream.
Imagine
whenever
getting
it pops
runic.
out, that person anything, whatever.
Imagine hitting a runic.
That's when your computer freezes and you accidentally say, "Oh, sorry."
Is that
these birds?
Josh's internet just died again.
I can't hear you. I'm not officially Coop Collective.
Right.
I'm just 2.0.
Rugged hard.
So yeah, this has been a long time coming. Be happy to have BAWK on board, getting this going. And so right now, if you're paying attention, if you're beating us, you're already accumulating points. It started tomorrow morning when everything's nice and fresh. I will send out an announcement to the Discord. I'll put a tweet out with all the details of the exact bird you can win, 2 serums, some wearables. We're going to throw it all in there. We'll get that mixed up. There's our first one kicking out. Everyone is available to this one. This is not broken down to anyone individually. Anyone can win this one and have some fun.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for it because like doing week-long events, it's like it's we hit on this. It's something you can strive for, and not to say that we're not gonna like do live racing on our show anymore. It's just week-long events is not everybody can hit our streams, right? And everybody wants to race, and like we can probably do some fun things with this down the road, and like once we save some big races, like if there is a big money race or something like that did go off in that week, we can highlight those or something like that.
It's been a bummer for our European and our Asian and our Aussie friends that just aren't always here on time. I get it. It's a weird time for some people around the world. So this makes it perfect. This gives you something really cool to look forward to on Wednesday nights with Ross, where it's an hour of madness. You got us where you plan around. You got the Fledge Challenge to try to get those totems. It's just it's all coming together. It's all working well, and I'm sure we'll start doing some crossover events with these guys too.
Wham, your tinfoil's on a little too tight.
It's an anti-Wham conspiracy.
Yes. No.
All of this planning was so we could
exclude
Whamola from winning
He's
every time we race
correct.
live.
Every
decision
thing I said to Josh
weighted on Wham.
Josh had 2 great ideas, and I was like, nope, absolutely not. That benefits Wham too much. Fuck that guy. So,
one of these nights we're gonna have a beat Wham bounty. There you go.
BAWK was gonna do that. BAWK was like, I might just make it a beat Wham thing tonight.
I had that coded up for tonight. I seriously had it. It was right there. Boom.
I got a message from Wham that was like, he was like, damn, BAWK turned on me quick. It's like,
what's
like
up,
I thought
Spider?
I had an ally. For
Spider
a
just
second.
had an epiphany. Wait, what?
It's great.
Did Tyler just say Josh had 2 ideas? He did say I had 2 great ideas.
That was
I think
just a
he was
bit.
meaning hypothetical.
That was just a bit. Yeah, he didn't actually have good ideas.
They were rhetorical, right? No,
Right.
or hypothetical.
Great ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, refresh that here in a few minutes when you get a chance. I think we should be live here pretty soon. We should be live now, actually.
Nice.
All right.
So, all right, y'all. So this was fun. I'm excited as hell for Friday. I'm excited to find out the details of what's coming next. Hopefully, whatever the mint price and supply and rollout is, pisses off as few amount of people as possible. Hopefully it just makes sense, one way or another. And we find ourselves having some fun. We're going to be doing everything we can here to have some fun with this. And maybe there's some changes coming. Obviously, there's a bunch of shit we couldn't get into tonight that I know has been mentioned. I'm very excited.
I feel like we hit on the heavy topic.
We did. There's other things like possibly putting timers on big races. And obviously another big one is going to be talking about what's going to come
$80.
next. Yeah, unlock his Josh wants his $80 race, which has 4 birds in it to unlock.
Has had 4 birds in it for 4 months now.
Yeah, Josh was like, I have $95 in pending races. I'm like, yeah, but 85 of it is one of them.
It's $115.
Yeah.
But yes, $85 of that is one race.
Yeah.
Which I should have never entered. I should have just bought a bird.
Yeah, it is.
But it was before MPO. It was like 2 seasons before MPO.
Been in there for a minute.
Yeah. Been a while.
That was one of those fuck 'em moments that I couldn't get to the phone in time to tell him no.
I was living high on the hog, I was feeling ballsy.
So yeah, I think it wraps up for tonight. BAWK, you're the man. Thank you for getting this thing going. I'm so excited now that we can run these. It was something we've always wanted to do. And yeah, we are we're pumped for the future. And here comes Friday. Let's hope for the best. Don't forget about Ross's Power Hour tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget about Foul Language on Thursday nights. And then, of course, we'll see you all on Friday when we find out some details about the Mint.
You bet. Yeah.
Until next time, Collective. Josh, send us off.
I am at Grateful Coops. We have at Waddle Waddle Racing and MBF Express and the BAWK Father. We'll see you next week, fam. Goodbye.
Could one show just be not about Wham? Just one.
We started this because of Wham.
I know.